There's a character in the movie who's got like slicked back hair. He drives like a muscle car. He just looks like a rough kind of dude.
A rough and tumble.
I can see him being a Loomis. I can see him being, quirky Loomis. Hey, everybody, it's me, Will.
And me, Kristen. And this is a special edition of Guide to the Unknown. An emergency edition.
It's an emergency. You know what? The Scream trailer just dropped.
Yep.
For Scream 2022, the new movie, Scream 5. Although it's just simply called Scream.
Of course. It's the Halloween effect.
It is. And Kristen and I have been texting furiously. We figured, why not open it up to share it with all of you? So these are our off-the-cuff feelings. This trailer literally dropped just an hour ago.
Yes. I was waiting with bated breath.
I know.
I was wondering if there'd be a midnight release, even though that's like not really a thing.
Yeah.
So when I woke up at 6:30, I was like, and I looked online. It wasn't there.
I know. Yeah, I was talking about it with Allie, and I used the phrase like, we should have it when we wake up. And it was like this, like, I sounded like a little boy talking about like Christmas morning or something, and I could feel it. It's just like, I am excited. I don't know.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I will say, I have been not hesitant, but I didn't think Scream 5 was going to happen. I thought Scream 4 would be the end of it.
No way, Jose, did I think it was going to happen, because Scream 4 was not a hit, decidedly.
Right.
So they originally thought that they might be kicking off a new trilogy, and then they scrapped it because Scream 4 landed with a fart.
Yeah.
So I did not think that we would get this gift.
And honestly, very, very selfishly, but I've been scrambling my way into the entertainment world. And I was like, someday. I told Allie at one point, I was like, my 5-year goal is to work on Scream.
Yeah.
And I didn't. But I did work on Blair Witch, so that's neat. But it didn't seem impossible, right?
Yeah.
So when the new movie was announced, I actually felt disappointed in a really weird way. But now it's been a couple years since it was announced, and bits and pieces of the info was coming out. I thought they were going to do a full reboot. I didn't think that they were going to. I didn't think it would be retelling the story of Sidney, Billy, and Stu or anything like that. But I just didn't think that they would get the original cast. I didn't think they would bother. They would just use the name.
Well, that's what they've done for TV. So
yes,
that was a totally legit thing to assume.
So, but then as the information has been coming out that they did get, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, and Neve Campbell to sign back on, and that it is the team that made Ready or Not, which I think is an unbelievably great movie.
Yeah, I loved it.
And this is written in part by James Vanderbilt, who wrote Zodiac, the David Fincher Zodiac, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Samesies.
And not only that, but, and I realize this is odd for me to say, he wrote Murder Mystery with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. Have you seen that movie?
Yes, I have. I liked it. It was cute.
If you watch that movie, not only is it genuinely funny, especially for an Adam Sandler movie, it's all about multiple villains.
Yeah.
But handled in a way that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I loved it. That was very fun.
So I think this is actually a very tight team.
It totally is. It was very encouraging because after the Scream TV show, which was not great, and then especially this third season of the Scream TV show, which was like terrible.
Embarrassing.
The idea of another Scream thing was like, well, are they just going to kind of dump it on whoever?
Yeah.
And it's not going to really be good. There's not a lot of care involved. And then when they were announcing the team making it, I was like, oh, like really people who've done stuff that I really, really like. So I was like, oh, hell yeah.
So I am finally, I've come all the way around and I'm just very excited now.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. And
I mean, we'd be very excited. No, well, if it was crap like the third season, we wouldn't be very excited no matter what. But I don't think that there's a world that there be another Scream movie coming out that has like any of the original cast that we wouldn't be like, okay, I'm pumped, even if we watched the trailer and it looked like crap.
Yeah, I mean, we're here for this no matter what, you know?
Yeah.
One thing I compared us to already online is like all those Star Wars chat shows that are like a new trailer for The Mandalorian dropped. Let's do a 45-minute, deep dive into this, 30-second teaser trailer.
Yeah, right.
This is our Star Wars.
Yeah, it
Right.
totally is. I don't have the same level of fandom for anything that I do for Scream.
Yeah.
Maybe The Real Housewives, I do.
Great.
But besides that, like,
Yeah, for sure.
it's true.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, like any movie, this is my Star Wars, my Super Bowl.
Yeah, my Mount Rushmore. So let's talk about it. What are your gut feelings off of the trailer?
I think it looks really good. I'm encouraged.
Yeah.
Like there are some things that I don't love about it.
Yeah.
But there are some things I don't love about like Scream the first movie or any of them. Like there's some kind of dumb lines.
Yeah.
But there are dumb lines in Scream. Like,
Yes.
I'm sorry that I'm an inconvenience to you and your perfect existence.
What? I didn't say that.
God.
The only thing that saves that is Billy going, what?
Yeah, I know. But like
Nobody said that.
right. So while it may not be perfect, I'm definitely trying. It's trying / just somewhat the way I am to just kind of take it as it is, like go on the ride of it, let myself be excited about it.
Yeah.
And even though there are things that are not like every second is me like, yes, 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 I'm still overall like, hell yeah, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So my overall feeling is like, hell yeah. And then I kind of go into a little bit more and obsessively try to figure out what the plot is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did too. My gut feeling as the trailer finished, I don't know that I've seen multiple people now say that it gave them chills. This trailer did not give me chills, but
I did not have chills. I don't think I often have chills.
No, me either. Yeah. I actually was
That's not
like
even a
almost
comment on that.
I was almost jealous. I was like, I wish a trailer would give me chills. That would be great. But like I watch this and I go like, okay, all right, cool. So it's real, it's happening. But just like you, as the trailer finishes, I start going like, there are a few things here that I hope are trailer only moments. It's always been a thing, but especially there's been a spotlight on it in recent years that like I think with even with Endgame. Avengers Endgame, there were things that were in the trailer that were not in the finished movie.
It happens all the time.
So a trailer is literally to sell you on the tone, the vibe, and the concept of the movie you're going to go see. And that is why I hope that lines like, I'm Sidney Prescott, of course I have a gun,
Yeah, I know.
are not in the movie.
I almost always, in movies or just in personal life, don't like people using their whole names in reference to themselves.
I know. Is she going to speak in the third person the whole movie?
Yeah, like, I'm Kristen Rogers, or I'm Kristen Anderson. Of course I watched the Scream trailer.
I'm Will Rogers. Of course I have cookies with me. Is she just going to be like, is Sidney Prescott going to have to cut a ghost face? Oh. Sidney Prescott knows what you're going through because Sidney managed to get through it just fine. Like,
Will,
did she?
When you said, is Sidney Prescott going to have to cut a ghost face, were you thinking of Wayne Brady on the Chappelle Show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course I was. That's not on the tip of your tongue at every given moment?
Clearly it is, because I caught it.
So the trailer opens with what appears to be, and everything is, it appears to be the opening kill of the movie. And so it's a girl alone in her house.
Which is totally Casey Becker's house.
I'm not so sure anymore.
I think it is.
So
there were a couple. The position of the staircase threw me.
Yes, okay. That was my smoking gun. Wow, you got it too.
Yeah,
The position of the staircase. We're so familiar with the architecture of Casey Becker's house that we were both like, the staircase should be to the right of the front door.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
so
embarrassing.
everything else.
This is humiliating. Maybe we shouldn't put this out there.
Yeah, maybe we should have kept this. We have been texting about Scream in general furiously.
We have, yeah.
Ever since we saw, we went to see the 25th anniversary screening of the original
In theaters. I'd never seen Scream on a movie, in a movie theater before.
I had neither. So Will and I have been texting just about the movies in general
Yeah.
and what we think this trailer. Anyway, yes. So that threw me.
Threw me. You were in it, and then you went, but wait a minute,
Huh?
because
Yeah.
Casey Becker's father starts to run up the staircase as her
Right.
mother picks up the phone and goes, Casey, baby.
baby.
But he's just to the right of the door. Meanwhile, our new character in the trailer seems to have a staircase directly behind her when she's
Yes.
at her front door. Now, these things don't match up.
There's an incongruity here. I do think it's not impossible that there have been renovations done to the
This is
house.
so stupid.
I don't think that that's like. I know.
Do you think they'll
sounds
explain
silly.
it? Do you think they'll talk about who the contractor was? And
Well, I think it's. I don't know. Because there are things that like really, really look like the Becker house. So the staircase was like the only thing. Like they show her. Well, I don't remember exactly what happened, but they show what seemed to me to be the like back doors to
Yeah.
the pool area at one point. The kitchen seems laid out a lot like the Becker kitchen, although, and this is why I say renovations, it does seem updated.
well, it's
But
been
as I'm saying
25
this-
years.
Yes, as I'm saying this out loud, when you do renovations, do you usually move a staircase? That
That's
doesn't
what I'm
seem-
saying. It's not
Yeah.
Casey Becker's house. So
I don't know.
part of the
Everything
reason
else looks a lot like it. Do you
It
feel
does.
that way?
Except I did my research and so Scream does not open with an establishing shot, the original Scream. It opens with the phone and Drew Barrymore answering it. However, we do get exterior shots of Drew Barrymore's house, and it is wildly different. If the establishing shot that opens this trailer is the house that we then see the interior of,
I would think so.
they are not the same house at all.
Okay.
No, I think they do a lot of misleads in this trailer. There is even a moment where in the opening scene, I think, they show with this new character who seems to be
We don't
getting
have names.
a Ghostface call. They show Ghostface approach her in the kitchen, I think. Then at the end of the trailer, when Sidney is at Stu's house, which is why we're thinking about, original characters' houses coming back. Stu's house is in this trailer.
Yeah.
Ghostface, when he says, hello, Sidney, it's an honor. He's in what looks to me to be the same kitchen.
Okay.
I think
didn't realize that.
I think there's freedom with Ghostface that you can just put him on screen and put the voice on top of him and just make it seem like those two moments are happening at the same time.
Oh, that's true.
I don't think that all the shots line up in this trailer. I think that I think it's all jumbled is what I think.
That makes total sense because that might not even be what happens in the movie.
Yeah,
Right.
like a trailer is cut for expediency, right? It has to be short and tell a very quick story of the premise,
Right.
and show you enough interesting things. So I think that I totally think that they could take Ghostface dialogue and just put it over any other scene. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Point is, it does seem like, and the trailer will even call out as Dewey is talking to some of the new characters, that they say the victims appear to be related to the original killers.
Right.
So Billy and
so-
Stu, the original killers of Scream, we've got Stu's house, and Ghostface is in there when Sidney shows up, and he says it's an honor, which I think a lot of people, and I've toyed around with it, are being like, is Stu back?
That to me tells me that he's not.
Yeah, it's too on the nose.
No, I think, and it's an honor is like you're meeting somebody for the first time.
But if he hasn't seen her in 25 years.
I don't know. That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, it's
An
weird.
honor.
I think it's a
It
stretch.
seems more like a dramatic person who's like been following the story of Sidney forever.
Yeah.
And so they decide to recreate this and they're like, wow, it's like the zenith.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want Stu back because they think that he's not dead because all that happened was a TV was dropped on his face. However, he's very electrocuted in that movie.
I mean, all indications are that he's super dead.
That's and they never talk about it's never mentioned in the subsequent 3 movies.
Yeah,
that-
there's no.
No.
Look, if they retcon him to be alive, we'll see what happens.
Right.
But like,
My
like that's a dead person.
Yeah, that's a dead guy. Even
He
my
was dying
theorizing
anyway, like
Yeah.
when Billy was stabbing him,
Yeah.
he was losing a ton of blood. So that plus having a TV dropped on your head, electrocuting you and
Yeah.
making you like seize horribly, there's no way.
Plus, what would it matter if Stu was back to life? He was sort of the lackey. He wasn't the grand mastermind of things. Like, I don't believe that the character Stu then becomes, you know, somebody who is pulling strings behind the scenes. He was like a mayhem guy. The joke of Scream, one of the jokes, is that the killer doesn't have a motive.
Right.
That's Stu. The other joke is that the killer has an incredible motive, and that's Billy. Stu is the guy that was like a mad dog.
Yeah, he was like along for the ride and he was super infatuated at the least with Billy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think Stu's going to be in this. And like I said, I think he's dead. But you could do a thing. I'm not saying it'd be good, but like, you know, a lot of bullies have been bullied. So if he is kind of like the bullied one in the scenario, so to speak.
Oh, that's interesting.
He could decide that he kind of wants some of that power that Billy had over him and use that over someone.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing.
See, this really is Star Wars, right? Like, by the time that you get to Scream 5, all these characters have been through so much stuff, and the fact that we're being like, maybe the apprentice has become the master. You know, it's just like, it's just too much. Even my own theorizing that Stu could be back is based only on fan service. It's not based on like that it would be a good thing for this story to bring back Stu. It's not, but it's
I mean, and the knowledge behind the scenes that was floated at one point.
Yes, exactly.
So
he was originally
just fan service. Like there is some precedent for this idea.
Yes.
But it didn't happen.
Supposedly
For a good reason.
Supposedly Kevin Williamson's version of Scream 3 would have seen Stu
as like a quasi cult leader.
Yeah, almost like enabling the killers perhaps from behind bars, which even that early on, even Scream 3, and you don't mention that Stu is alive in Scream 2, would be a mess. They show Cotton Weary in Scream 1 for 4 seconds to set him up for the future. Like,
which is so sweet.
Scream is a tightly scripted concept, and it was sold as, you know, here is my script for Scream, and here's where it would go in 2 and 3. Like, it was a compact story across 3 movies, sort of.
Yeah.
The version we got is not necessarily, because 3 was obviously heavily rewritten.
Right. But that was the original plan.
It was the original plan. So it's weird for things to happen without any setup in a Scream movie, to me. So I don't think Stu is
now.
back.
You know,
not now. Everything's a mess now. Honestly, one of my biggest problems with this new trailer is how much it looks like Scream 4 to me.
It doesn't like, it definitely looks like Scream 4, but it wasn't my first thought. Like, it looks kind of like what I would think in a way, you know, like they're bringing in new, younger people.
Yep.
And our old friends are there. And so I think because that's what happens in Scream 4, it kind of looks like that. But I think the vibe is different, at least from the trailer. And trailer vibes don't always match up with, you know, movie vibes. But I don't know. It feels more serious.
It does feel more serious to me. It doesn't feel funny, which I think is a good thing. I've talked a lot recently about, like, Ghostface is supposed to be a scary, like, the things that are quote unquote funny about Scream movies are that the characters are friends and will make fun of each other and rib each other and stuff. And Randy talks about movies. That's what's funny. But Ghostface in that first movie, like, if you watch Billy and Stu, they are scary.
Oh yeah.
And unhinged. And when people die, it is intense. And I think, thankfully, the second one too, yes. And I think that's what they are, it seems to me, getting back to here, which is a huge good thing. But the things that...
Hopefully less quips before somebody fully dies.
Good God.
You know? But there's no indication of that in this, which doesn't mean that it's not there. But, you know, I hate that.
I just hate that. That Bruce Willis line in Scream 4 is...
I hate it so much.
It almost becomes embarrassing to be like, I love this.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that this is a step in the right direction, but by design, it is doing, seemingly, and again, the trailer could be a mislead, but it's stuck having to walk the same path that Scream 4 already did. We're back in Woodsboro. There's a new young set of characters, and one of them appears to be the new final girl, who Sidney herself is even being like, "Your life's good. This is your life now."
I know.
And it's like it's just like the way she used to talk to Jill, in Scream 4. It's like, shouldn't she have even learned a lesson that the character that you think might be the final girl also might not be trustworthy? It's weird for her to have an instant heart-to-heart with presumably a character she's never met before.
I know. That was very strange that like she basically like tapped a rando on the shoulder.
Right.
And they turned around and they were like, I know who you are. Like they didn't have any prior history. Sidney sought her out.
Right.
So I'm really curious about like how Sidney ends up there and like what her deal is.
Surprise, I'm here to mentor you.
Yeah, she was like there more organically in the fourth one.
Yeah.
And ends up doing that stuff. Actually, she was going to leave town, but she couldn't because of the killing. So this is, I don't know. I'm curious about that.
Maybe it's not, maybe it's not what the trailer, maybe the movie is different from the trailer, but
yeah.
and
you also just can't always tell. There could be a greater context.
It's weird to me.
That makes it fit better.
I'm not thrilled about Sidney, Dewey, and Gail as just vigilantes, because the fact that Dewey calls Sidney and he's like, it's happened already. It's happening again. 3 attacks so far.
Yeah.
It's like he's calling in Captain Marvel.
Well, I don't know if that's true because it seemed she might come flying in like Captain Marvel, but he's like, do you have a gun? I think he's being like, somebody might come after you. So heads up. And then I don't know how it progresses to Sidney coming to Woodsboro, but we don't hear anything from him that's saying, come on in.
So they just assume that she's already involved just by the nature of a ghost face killing in town.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
Yeah, I guess I would, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Let's talk about Dewey.
Sure.
Because some stuff, this is so stupid.
I know.
All right, but anyway,
this is arguably this is a new low for us to be doing a trailer reaction. Maybe we'll see if people like this. I'm enjoying myself.
An hour after it came out. This isn't even our normal time.
No,
guys,
not at
I'm
all.
supposed to be working.
Shut up.
Yeah, I should shut up. All right, anyway, so Dewey, he looks to me from what we see like he has fallen on hard times, and there are a few things that point to this. A stubble that we've never seen.
It's been 25 years. Maybe that's how long it took for him to grow it. He's 25 in that first movie.
I know, but that mustache has, varied in intensity. So that makes me think he is able to, sometimes it's thinner, sometimes it's thicker, like width-wise, not like hair density. So that makes me think that he's able to grow hair quickly. So no, this isn't a hard-fought stubble. He just isn't shaving leaves.
This sucks. Do a deep dive on Dewey's mustache. All right.
Okay. Also, he's in this like little house that's super messy. So he does not seem to be living in that like big, pretty windowed white house with Gail anymore. So it looks like they've broken up. There's a liquor bottle on the table, and he's talking in a lower, hoarser voice than usual. He's not like kind of perky, but resolved. We're going to get through this, Dewey. He seems like a little like he's been through a battle.
Now, it's been 10 years since Scream 4, and he had been the sheriff.
Right.
Is he no longer the sheriff?
He could be.
He's only 50.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he could be. I don't see why not.
But he's
sheriffs that are all after a thing.
So let's get to my morbid theory. Dewey, and this extends beyond the trailer. In the teaser video for they're doing an Airbnb thing with Stu's house, and Dewey is in photos of it and maybe a video. Yeah, he's in a trailer for it too. He's wearing his costume from this movie, and his costume in this movie appears not to change at all. Now, maybe this movie takes place over the course of a single day.
It could. The only thing that we see Sidney in besides her like walking about town outfit is her running outfit.
Yeah.
So that could have been in the morning and then she changed.
Could have been. But so Dewey is only seen in this trailer on the phone in his busted home.
Yeah.
And then in what looks to be a hospital hallway where he has this like shootout with Ghostface. He's got like a Western style walking forward, dumping the old shells out of his revolver and reloading it. And then at one point in the trailer, Ghostface has him against the wall and is swiping at him. And then there's a quick shot in the trailer where Sidney appears to be holding back Gail, who is screaming.
Yeah.
I think Dewey is either dead, or are they getting it out of the way? The joke of, at the end of every Scream movie, basically, Dewey is attacked and yet survives. Do they just do that in the first 20 minutes? And that is what brings Sidney back to town, maybe, or reactivates them. And maybe he survived, because I think you're right. You said something in text that was a very good point about Dewey. David Arquette was the first to sign on. Dewey could be the glue character that, carries on the franchise into a new cast.
So. I think that David Arquette is a little bit more available in game for this. Like, he signed on pretty much right away as it was announced.
They all seem to care about it, though. It's astounding to me.
They definitely do.
I'm shocked that Neve Campbell is back and that Courtney Cox is back. My impression from Neve Campbell is not that she's like an actress who isn't getting roles. I almost get a vibe from Neve Campbell that she's like, I live my life and sometimes I do movies.
I think so, basically.
Yeah.
But it took her a long time to sign on. Like, it took a little while for Courtney Cox to sign on, and then even longer for Neve Campbell. So I think you're exactly right. I think she's just kind of like living her life, but she'll do this every once in a while. He seems like he is game to show up where they need him. It was him solo in the Creed music video, may I remind you.
Oh my God, you're right.
So I think that they might need David Arquette in their pocket,
maybe, yeah,
to act as connective tissue to the old guard if Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell don't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, which is why I think it's not impossible that the first act ends, or maybe it's the end of the second act. Dewey is attacked and taken out of commission, whether he's killed or just injured, and that's what pushes Gail and Sidney on to do whatever they're gonna do. I don't know, but
I hope not. I don't want any of them to die.
Here's the I love these movies, but like,
no, I know.
I believe in like storytelling that takes chances and makes you feel something. And as much as I liked Randy, I'm not one of the people that's like, how could they kill him? I think
Randy I can live without, but the three of them I don't want to die.
But then at a certain point, it's just the Terminator. Like, it's just not
really.
It's just not. I'm not saying that they can't be killed, but if we all agree that from a plot perspective they won't be killed, it's almost the same thing to me. There's no suspense. You can see everything coming.
There's suspense otherwise. I can live with the other suspense.
Yeah, fair enough. So, but yeah, that's a big part of my theory. I also had a thought about Scream 4, which is that that movie was all about like, who's the new Sidney, who's the new Randy, who's the new blah 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 blah, and the new Dewey was Dewey. Right? Like at the end of that movie, Jill is friends with Dewey. Like, he's at her bedside, and she was like, maybe we could write a book together, me and Gail. I'm like, the new Dewey and Gail are Dewey and Gail. She just wants to be friends with them. They're Screech for Saved by the Bell, the new class. Yeah.
I understand the plotting thing of it all, but I selfishly would be happy for them to just, when this finally ends, for them to just be off in the sunset.
Fair enough. So the concept of the murders being related to the original killers.
Mm-hmm. I hope it's not literally related.
I don't know.
Like, familially.
I
don't want that for some reason I can't even put my finger on.
There's a guy, because it's that same problem of Scream 3 and Scream 4 again, of relatives that we've never met or heard of, in a way.
Yeah.
But also, who cares if it's Billy Loomis's cousin?
I know.
What does that matter?
I guess that's part of the thing. Like, okay, so something that you theorized about, but that might not be the case, as you rightly pointed out, it seems like what I thought was the Becker house might not be the Becker house. But you had kind of the idea that maybe this killer is targeting people who live in the old, like the former houses of the original victims.
Right.
I like that kind of
he's revisiting the crime
so
scenes
much more than I like the idea of actual family members of the killers being targeted. That's like, when I think about that, that's like, ooh, fun, weird. Partially because then you get to go see those old sets and it ties in nostalgia in a way that's kind of organic. But like the idea of just, family, like I don't know them. Like why are they going after them?
Yeah.
They're only tangentially related to this, really.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that it's not literal.
I know.
Family.
I know. I'm sort of with you. So obviously Stu's house is back, which I'm very excited to see. And there's a character in the movie who's got like slicked back hair. He drives like a muscle car. He just looks like a rough kind of dude.
A rough and tumble.
I can see him being a Loomis. I can see him being, quirky Loomis. Like his older cousin murdered people 25 years ago. I don't know. The distance in time is also tricky. A lot of these characters, just like Scream 4, again.
Yeah.
This should just be called Scream 4 again from where I'm sitting right now.
Nah.
But like those characters were 15.
Yeah.
Ish. 16, 17. So they would have been babies when Scream 1 took place. And it's the same thing here. The cast seems a little bit aged up. They look like they might be young adults, 20s-ish. But that still means that they're toddlers during the original movie. What's like, I don't
know,
get
but
that.
it rocked the town of Woodsboro, Will. Like, if something like that happened...
It all started with a scream over 911.
Exactly. But no, like that kind of thing leaves a huge mark. That's something that you talk about for a bajillion years.
I don't disagree with you. So here's something that I think is very fun. So 5 years ago-ish, I decided to write my own. Like I knew that the Scream TV series was in bad shape, and they'd announced they were going to reboot it for season 3. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna. What if I were in charge? If I were show running Scream season 3, what would I do? And so I wrote, you go back to Woodsboro, and you revisit these places and what's happened to these characters through a lens of true crime. I wanted Gail to have hosted a show on the Murder Channel. I wanted, Sidney, I assumed Nev Campbell would never want to do anything. So even in my script, I was like, Sidney is living a fine life. This is about the sins of Woodsboro. And so it would be about, like, who is the Prescott family here? Are they, legends? I want to see Billy Loomis's grave. I wanted somebody to have stolen Billy Loomis's body.
Billy Loomis's grave.
Yeah. And so because Scream 4 was really a missed opportunity to me. It's in Woodsboro, but it doesn't necessarily feel like, it feels like a suburbia, but it doesn't feel like the incredibly remote community that we saw in Scream 1. Yeah. We don't revisit any familiar locations. We don't really get to see any familiar characters outside of the main 3. So anyway, I wrote a script that was like 5 pages long. It was my opening kill for a show. And I wrote a single page treatment of why and what would happen from there. Right. And in my short script, and I think I'm going to put it in the show notes if anybody wants to read my script. I reread it recently, and as I was reading, I was like, I should tighten this up, right? Maybe I'll have to like rewrite a few things. You know what? I like it. I like what I wrote. Great. And maybe I'll just change it and make it not a Scream. I was very wary of it being fanfic. I don't consider myself a fanfic. I also don't look down on fanfic writers, but I was writing a pitch. Yeah. So I like it. Anyway, my character in the opening scene gets a phone call from an unknown number and doesn't answer it, because who does that?
Yeah, you don't answer unknown numbers.
And instead she starts getting texts from her father, but it's not really her father. This trailer, the first thing you see is the character getting a phone call from unknown, and she doesn't answer it. And then she starts getting texts from her friend, but it's not her friend. Yeah. And it just makes me feel like I'm on the right wavelength. Yeah. It makes me feel like, nobody knows who I am or reads my scripts, but like
not nobody.
Not nobody. But like I had the right idea that is now going to be in a movie. You know what I mean? And that's very affirming to me. So I'm dusting off that script and putting it back out there, because why not?
Absolutely, why not?
Very famously right now, Squid Game, that Netflix show is blowing up, and a big story is like, it was pitched 10 years ago, and they sat on it, and everyone's like, wow, so don't give up on your dreams. But also, I looked at the calendar, 10 years ago, Hunger Games was huge.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything, but like maybe the creator of Squid Game was like, yo, I love Hunger Games. I'm going to write my Hunger Games. And everyone was like, but we have a Hunger Games right now. So they had to wait for it to be relevant again.
It could be.
Who knows? I'll wait. I'm going to write my script. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of revisiting the actual fabric of this, of Woodsboro and seeing what this town is like. A lot of franchises like Halloween, like, I don't know why they're shying away. I do know why they're shying away from all those sequels, but also the more times something horrible has happened, the deeper the wounds should be to sort of examine the trauma of that. I actually think there's strength in keeping everything canon and saying
totally.
I can't believe this is, well, this how's this for a trailer line? I can't believe this is happening again. But like, you know,
surprised you didn't say that on the poster.
I know. But like seeing Sidney be like, all right, I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go. It's happening. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is what my life is about, is waiting for this to happen again. It always happens again. That actually, I think if you tell that story right, could be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right. Well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm very
not even
excited.
cautiously excited or anything.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to this.
Me too. I'm all in.
Yeah, and then the movie.
It's a Scream, baby.
It's a Scream. Oh, last theory. So Deputy Hicks from Scream 4 is back, Marley Shelton, and she is shown in her house, not in cop clothes. Which, if we're going by the victims are people who are tied to original crime scenes, maybe that scene is not her doing cop stuff. It's her being like, oh no, I live in Sidney's old house.
Oh, I think that.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know why I assume that.
Right? Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's who knows?
And like, remember, she was around during that stuff. She went to high school with Sidney. So she was, you know, in Woodsboro around the time of those killings. She has a perspective on them. That could be kind of interesting if we hear her talk about what her perspective on this was as an outsider.
I know.
Because we haven't really heard that before. We know what it was like from everybody inside, but being just somebody else at that high school, like, what the hell was that like?
And that's what I mean. Like, so Halloween 4 had a whole different script than what was eventually made. There was this really odd idea about how Michael Myers was supposed to be dead. He died at the end of Halloween 2, and Halloween 3 is its own different story. So Halloween 4, the original, there's this script that's around, you can find it, where the original screenwriter, whose name I can't remember, didn't want to bring Michael Myers back. He wanted it to be about, quote unquote, the ghost of Michael Myers. Maybe literally, but also talking about what happens to the people who live in this community who have suffered through this, and their collective trauma sort of brings about the next, you know, bout of trouble.
Right.
And again, that's sort of what already happened in Scream 4. So I'm very curious.
Not enough. I don't feel like I don't know. I don't feel like that was very present or clear in Scream 4.
Really? All those characters were fascinated to be living in this town.
They were, but it wasn't like the collective trauma of the town sort of deal. It was like snarky teenagers.
Yeah. Oh, not literally that, but like the idea of like, you know, Ghostface even says to Sidney in Scream 4, what about the town you left behind? Like it is all about this place, which is why Scream 4 is weird that it's not about the place. But maybe this movie will correct all those things. I don't know. I'm very I'm eager to see.
But also, for better or worse, we'll see how it goes. It seems like the new Halloween movie is addressing a lot of the town stuff, because it's very much about like the townsfolks going after Michael Myers.
Well, Halloween, you know, I've got a million issues with. I think we'll be talking about that soon. That movie comes out this week.
I know, it comes out on Friday, and we can watch it at home.
What a time.
I know, what a time to be alive.
Tonight, the new Chucky series starts. I know you're not a Chucky fan. No. But then Halloween comes out and Scream is on the way. Like, this is not too shabby.
Woo!
Not too shabby.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Well, I think that's going to do it for us talking about the Scream trailer. Let's see.
Yeah, for now.
Almost
At least
40
publicly,
minutes.
I'm sure we'll go back to texting.
I know. I'm sure we'll notice new things like 2 seconds after we sign off.
Yeah.
But we did it. We're officially a React channel.
Yes, finally.
Finally. It's been a long road. Thank you for sticking with us. So yeah, send us your theories as well. There is a channel in our Discord, which you can find by signing up for patreon.com/GTTUpod. You get access to our little forum over there. You can talk about it in the Facebook group, gttupod.com for everything that you need from us. Shows, merch, exclusive stuff on that Patreon that we mentioned, including commentary tracks for all
of the
four
Scream movies.
Yeah, to this point. So you can hear our extensive thoughts about the Scream franchise. And yeah, go read that script that I wrote. It's in the show notes right now. Go check it out and tell me what you think if you like it. If you don't like it, remember what Thumper said. All right, everybody.
What did Thumper say?
Didn't he say in Bambi, he says, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all?
Is that where that comes from? You could be right, but I didn't realize. I've never thought about that in connection with Thumper.
Well, I have no idea if I'm right or not. Anyway, thank you all so much. Follow us online as well. I'm at The Myth Traveler.
I'm at Chillin' Kristen.
And we'll see you on a live recording tonight at 7 Eastern on youtube.com/talkbomb. I'm sure there will be plenty more to say about Scream in the coming months.
I'm sure.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, that'll do it, right?
Okay, great.
Okay, I'll get this online.